knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted, I was introduced to the idea of financial freedom and all of that. But again, like I said, I just didn't know what route I thought I was going to take. And then from there, I actually first got my license because I was trying to figure out this investing thing and couldn't figure it out. And I said, well, let me just get my license because at least I can get a foot into real estate and then figure it out from there. So I got my leasing license. So in Illinois, we have 3 licenses. You can be a leasing agent, you can be a sales agent or broker, and then also you can be a managing broker. And so at the time, the leasing agent was the easiest one to get. And I did that for about a year and I didn't like it. And so then I went and focused more on real estate investing. And so then I attended workshops, seminars, bought classes, did the whole guru program, did all of that. Got involved with my first couple of investments, and then decided to go back and get my broker's license, because what I realized was that I was referring so much business out to realtors, because people knew that I was in real estate, but the consumer doesn't know the difference, right? They don't know if you're an investor, if you're a broker, or what, they just know you do real estate. So they're going to come to you for everything if you position your brand that way, right? And I know we're going to talk about branding shortly. But yeah, so that's where I am today. So 3 years ago, I went back and got my broker's license. And because of my love for investing, I utilized my platform to share information about investing. And then I started attracting more investors. So that's how I became the hashtag Investors Realtor.
That's awesome. And speaking of your hashtag and the platform that you've built, how did you start leveraging social media to build that brand?
So it actually started in Periscope days when live streaming first became common. At first, it was this weird thing, like live streaming. What is, you just press a button in your living room and now all of a sudden hundreds of people are in your living room with you. And so that's actually where it started, was when I saw other individuals start monetizing social media. And then I said, oh, wow, okay, so this could be done, because I never looked at myself as a brand or having a brand. I never looked at my name as a brand, but in reality, like, we are all brands, right? You are a walking brand, you are a walking billboard. And it doesn't matter if you think of yourself that way or not, because regardless, you are, right? And so then then I had to ask myself, why am I on social media? And that's what I asked my social media clients. I asked them, like, why are you on social media? What is your purpose for being on social media? Because if you're just here, to post stuff, to laugh at stuff, to, whatever, okay, then, it truly is a social platform for you. But if you're a business owner and you're looking to do business, work with other clients, attract clients, that sort of thing, then we have to be strategic about what you're putting out and how you're putting it out there. And so for me, it was just shifting the mindset and realizing that it's a real opportunity out here, right? And so from there, then I started building, and I was more intentional with the type of content that I was putting out.
For sure. And I think you kind of scratched the surface on this, but how did you decide to own the specific hashtag that you have, the Investors Realtor?
Yeah, so like I said, it was really just my love for investing, and then realizing that you are what you attract. And so as I attracted more investors, again, where there is what should I say, where there is lack, right? So wherever there is a space that needs to be filled, like, there's opportunity there. And for whatever reason, a lot of folks, we let that stop us from doing stuff. Well, there's nobody doing it in this space, or there's nobody doing it, so I don't want to do that. Like, no, actually, it should be the opposite. There's nobody in this space, and that's why you should move into this space. And it's the same reason why and how, Flipping in Heels was born and created. But it was because I literally have a love for investing, and I'm passionate about generational wealth building and talking to folks about, hey, well, did you know that you could leverage your 401k, and you can do this and you can do that, you can leverage your business credit, and just putting out the content and talking to folks. So literally 90% of my clients come through social media. The other 10% come through referrals. But again, it was about putting out the content, speaking directly to investors, and then they came, right? Your audience will come, your tribe will come, your clients will come as you put out the content that they need that will attract them. Because what it turned out to, a lot of my, as I was putting out content, a lot of the comments were, wow, never knew that, never knew that, never knew that, never knew that. Now you're positioning yourself as the subject matter expert within that niche, right? And so now, okay, any question I have about real estate, any question that I have about investing, any question I have about anything, real estate related, I'm going to go to Rashana. And so that's really kind of what it turned into.
Yeah. It's almost like, you didn't start out to say, I'm going to be the subject matter expert in investing, but you manifested it by the content that you were putting out, and you were just being very intentional.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and I'm so glad you said it too, because no, I did not start out saying like this is only what I'm going to focus on. But again, it was something that I love talking about myself, and by no means did I put myself out there as a guru or an expert, because I think some people, they let that hinder them too. Like they don't, they get this imposter syndrome, right? They're like, oh well, I not where I want to be in this level yet, so how can I turn around and teach other people? And that's not the point, right? The point is to document the journey and appreciate the journey. And then that way, because you don't know who you're going to inspire or encourage or be able to help out along the way. And that's what it was. Like I'm still not where I want to be, but and I never put myself out there as a guru or an expert. But from the information that I was putting out there, people learn from it, and there's value there. And because of that, my business was able to grow.
Yeah. Okay. So we kind of talked a little bit about how you attract clients, 90% coming from social media, the other 10% being referral business. Of those clients, do you have a group that's primary investors or first-time home buyers, sellers? What does your clientele look like?
Yeah, the majority of my clients are buyers. And within the buyers, I would say um within the buyers, those who are just strictly investors, it's probably like 30%, and then the other 70%, um well, no, maybe the other 10% are just like purchasing a single family home. So it's 30. So then another 60%, I would say, are buyers who are looking to house hack. But I categorize them as investors because they are coming to me with an investor's mindset. And so even within the Investors Realtor, within that hashtag, what I've really been able to dominate on the market here is the house hacking market, and being able to speak directly to those buyers. Yes, they are first time home buyers, but they're going into their first property buying an investment property and knowing, hey, I want to buy a 2, 3, or 4 unit investment property, and I'm only going to live here for a year, and then I'm going to turn around and go buy another building. Because obviously, with using like FHA and conventional, obviously taking advantage of the lowest down payment options, that's one of the easiest ways to start off your investing career.
Yeah. And it's really cool that people are finding that opportunity to be a first time home buyer and investor all in the same
Mm-hmm.
transaction. It's nice to
Mm-hmm.
have you in their corner to help them out with that. So before we move on to just being an investor and understanding the basics, one last question I want to make sure we cover is, what was the inspiration behind Flippin' and Heels? How did that come to be?
So the inspiration was, I don't know if I would call it inspiration, but it's definitely more like what I just spoke to, right? Was realizing that there was no female investor that I could look up to at the time. That I would say like, man, I follow all her stuff. she's amazing, she's this, she's that, you know, like she was non-existent. And so when I realized that, I was like, man, you know, there has to be something out here for us as women, because this is a very male dominated industry. And I wholeheartedly believe that women can be more than just realtors. You know, we can cut the check and cash the check. We can be general contractors. We can be flippers, wholesalers, developers, landlords, you know, you name it. And so really, and thank God for social media, because after launching a platform, then I was able to connect with so many amazing women from across the country who are doing amazing things, you know, within where they live. But prior to, I couldn't find her. And so that was the whole purpose for creating that community and bringing it all together, was to help more women who were like me, right? Because I did not have anybody at the time that I could look up to.
Okay. Very cool. Well, let's get into it. The investing theme here. So, just to understand the basics, tell us, Roshana, just a few different types of property investment opportunities, whether it's a flip or a rental.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I think it's good to primarily as agents who are on here, you have to understand one, your market, obviously, and you want to, and I say that because, you know, as you're working with investor clients, they love that you as an agent, and that's one thing too, why I've been able to attract so many investor clients, because I'm able to set myself apart from just a regular real estate agent, right? And I'm intentional about that. And you can further your education on the investing side if you have an opportunity to do so. I would definitely say do that. And it can be, like I say, either in the flipping space, in the space of buy and hold, being a landlord, in the space of wholesaling, right? The assignment of contracts, but I definitely wholeheartedly am big on just having the education that I have around investing, but then utilizing that for my clients, right? I have great recommendations for contractors and inspectors, and I have you know, I have like the folks that I utilize for even my own investment projects. And so being able to have those resources as a realtor is definitely beneficial, you know, to clients.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good segue into the next question. So, how do you? I'm picturing you're probably using all the tools available to you to make this determination. But how do you determine if a property is worth investing? Are there a set of metrics that you kind of review,
Mhm.
or how do you finally decide, yes, this is worth my time?
Yeah, absolutely. So even on the flip side, or even on the wholesale side, there's something investors have, like, just standard. And it's so funny because investing and being a real estate agent, it's the same industry, but it's kind of a different language. And so um on the flip scale, or even on the wholesale scale, in terms of like just even submitting offers, there's something called an MAO, which is a maximum allowable offer. And the number one rule in real estate investing is you make money when you buy, right? So when you buy too high on the front end, you don't even leave enough room for something to go wrong in the rehab. You don't leave enough room in case the ARV shifts, right? In case it goes down, you know, you don't know, it might you know, your estimated rehab might be 3 months, it might take 6 or 9 months, right? So we know the market can shift, especially in today's economy anyway. And so buying right on the front end is going to help you, you know, on the long term, right? And then the thing that will help you obviously on the back end is if the ARV happens to go up, and that's great, everybody wins. But the MAO, the maximum allowable offer, is really just you taking the ARV, and it's also called the 70% rule. So multiplying the ARV by 70% and then subtracting whatever the rehab number is, because usually you want to leave at least about a 30% margin in your deal in order for it to make sense in terms of the flip. right? But again, that's if you yourself are doing flips or if you have clients who are doing flips. It's good for you to become very familiar with that. The other side to that is if you are doing buy and holds, or if you have clients that are doing buy and holds, because that's obviously going to be a different formula. When it comes to buy and holds, it's really just a matter of what the numbers are, right? What the debt service is, what is the monthly mortgage, taxes, insurance, and then what's the rental income, right? What's the rental income? What are the expenses, right? Gas, maintenance, that whole piece there. And if the numbers make sense there from a cash on cash return, meaning the amount of income that you're going to get, over a 12-month period, on top of the cash that is needed to put down for that building. And so usually that's how investors are running numbers for buy and holds. But like I said, you as an agent, knowing your market, and then also knowing, is this a flip market or is this a buy and hold market? And depending on which one it is best for you to become familiar with those. Can I answer the question really quick for Chantel?
Yeah, by all means.
Okay. No, I do not. I don't have time to do that. So no, I don't. I Most of my clients who come to me are they already understand that. They know where they want to be in terms of numbers and things like that. If they ask me for my support, then I will look into it. But no, you will drive yourself crazy trying to run numbers for every single client, right? But then when they run their numbers and then they come to you for your opinion, then you can give some insight there, because again, it's not foreign to you. It's not something that this is your first time hearing about it or talking about it. And no, I've never done REOs.
And that was a no to doing those types of analysis for your clients.
Correct.
Yeah. So maybe nice to do a little bit of consulting. You do the work, you can show me, we
Right.
can bounce some ideas back and forth.
Absolutely, absolutely. But no, can you think about like every single property your client was interested in, they sent you to run numbers? No.
Okay. So this next question we have is, how do you find a deal? And actually, this is a good tie-in with Vince's question. Are you still able to find investment opportunities?
Absolutely. So, again, you guys, especially on the investment side, investors buy in every market. Okay. I don't care what is going on in the world, investors buy in every market. And so it's just a matter of changing up the strategy for what might work in the market, right? So if the properties that are on the MLS are getting too pricey, right? Because of, like, especially in Chicago, due to supply and demand, obviously, more buyers in the market, not enough inventory, prices go up. So now we have to get creative and finding off market deals. And there's so many creative ways to make those off market connections. And that can be through, like, if you guys are familiar with wholesaling or know anything of brown wholesaling, that's all that is being marketing. It's getting good with marketing to find off market deals. But then also, I am very big on networking and connections. I have a group of agents that I've built a relationship with just by just naturally, organically doing deals. And some I might have relationships with, some not. I've even gone to the extent of, if there's someone who I'm seeing, an agent always has listings in this area, hey, get them a call and say, hey, do you have anything that's coming up? Because I have buyers who are ready to pull the trigger, right? Or maybe it's yourself, you're looking for yourself. Do you have anything that's coming up? But I'm always asking my realtor partners or wholesalers or I'm definitely leveraging my network and the connections that I have to see what type of deals are out there. I move a lot of inventory off market. And so, for example, a seller may come to me to sell their property. And then, I may already have a connection, with another realtor for a buyer, and vice versa. A realtor will tell me they have something coming up, and I'm bringing my buyers by before it hits the market, so we can try and not have to deal with that, crazy multiple offer situation.
Right. Keeping your ear to the ground and, leveraging that network that you've built.
Absolutely.
This one I'm really excited for. I think it makes sense to bring up as we're talking about, trending and what's going on in the market. So as far as what you're working on, like what's trending for you when it comes to real estate investing?
Yeah, so I touched on this a little bit earlier. The house hacking market is insane. Um, like I said, out of those buyer clients that I have, I mean, I don't know the exact percentage, but it's a high percentage in terms of how many of them are actually looking to house hack. And but like I said, I qualify them or identify them as investors, but that is the trend right now. And if you're not familiar with house hacking, is living in a single family or a multi-family property, utilizing a first, um, well, I should say an owner occupied loan, right? So you don't have to be a first time home buyer to take advantage of the low down payment, but an owner occupied type loan, whether it's FHA or conventional, anywhere from 3 to 5% down, or 3.5% down FHA. But getting into a multi-unit and understanding that if you purchase a multi-unit first, that can help set you up for the future purchases that you're looking to make, because that rental income that your property is generating can help you qualify. It will count as additional income to help the buyer buy the next property. And even if it's if it's a condo or a townhome or a single family home or something like that, you can still rent other areas out in your property, whether it's the garage, a bedroom, a shed, or whatever. But again, the idea is to eliminate what your biggest debt is. And for the majority of us, our biggest monthly debt is our living expense, right? Whether it's rent or mortgage or whatever it is. And so sometimes I have to have that conversation with clients, because they're like, what are the pros and cons to both, right? So I want a condo, but I think I want a building, but I'm not really sure. And so, what I told them is that, hey, well, what are your goals long term? And then let's see what is going to be the best avenue for you to get there. If you know that, because real estate is hot right now and trendy, if you know that you are looking to, if you want to be an investor, buy and hold long term, then maybe we should go this route. If you are not looking to be a landlord or anything like that long term, then let's focus on this. So the house hacking is definitely, absolutely trending right now. It's so funny because I'm so excited when I get somebody who wants to buy a condo or a single family home. I'm like, thank you, because the market is so competitive. Kaylee, your sound kind of went out. I don't know. Is it me?
We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So the question was, Roshana, AUD, is that popular in the Chicago area?
I'm not sure what that is.
Patricia, she's in Maryland. We were talking about house hacking, and she said it's called pocket listing in her area.
Oh yeah. The off market deals, pocket listings. Yeah, when you're asking other realtors, do they have anything coming up? But also network with wholesalers too. Like realtors, see wholesalers in a bad light. And I guess that wholesaling is a low barrier to entry, right? Like you can literally decide today I'm gonna be a wholesaler. So I think they get it. They're looked at in a bad light for a number of reasons. But those who are doing good business with integrity, is definitely worth networking with, to see what deals they have coming up or available. Because again, that those are the deals that you aren't going to have to fight over, for your clients.
Okay. So we'll switch it up here a little bit. Of all of the investments that you've had involvement with previously, which project has been your favorite and why? Whether it's the client that you worked with or the actual investment itself?
Probably my first investment, probably my very, very first investment. And so, um, I'm laughing at the comment from Chantel. So my very first investment was a private investing opportunity. It was in 2015. So I was 24. And so someone allowed me the opportunity to invest in their deal. And I call it mentor hacking is what I coined it on a previous podcast that I did, because what I didn't realize at the time, but I knew that, I wanted to obviously get involved in real estate. I did not know all there was to know about real estate, or where to get started or anything like that. But because I was an investor in this project, I was able to show up, ask questions, be on a job, talk to contractors, and get involved. And I call it mentor hacking, for that very reason. There's so many people who are looking for a mentor, especially I think in life, right? I think we're all, sometimes we all are always looking for, that if you're blessed, you have, mentors in many spaces and many areas of your life, right? But there are folks who are looking for a mentor, in the agent world or in the investment world. Um, but that allows you the opportunity to show up and ask questions if you're an investor on that deal. And so that's what I did, and that's actually what I do in hindsight too. So like now I raise money for my own deals, and I allow people the opportunity to learn about investing through that entire process. But I would say that's probably one of my favorite deals, because it was a 12-month investment. And so I put my money in and I did nothing. I sat back, and in 12 months, I collected my check, plus my interest. Now, I was a young, broke college student at the time. So I didn't even, my investment was only like $2,500. And I even begged, like the minimum investment was 5,000. But I was like, please, I just really want to get started with something, because again, I had tried to get my license, and like I said, I did the leasing thing, and I was like, I didn't like it. And so a lot of my journey, when people ask the how did you get started question, it's really trial and error. That's what I tell people. It was a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of starting it and then just trying to figure it out. And so, but yeah, I would say that from that investment, I learned a lot. And in hindsight, I do the same thing when raising money for my deals. And it was a good start to real estate investing.
Cool. Yeah, I have some people, as you can see in the comments, that are digging the mentor hacking, that story there. So it's very cool.
Yes.
We would be remiss if we didn't bring this up, but how has the pandemic changed real estate investment landscape for you?
Oh man. So the pandemic helped my business, because at the very beginning, it allowed me to slow down and get my systems in order. And so, literally, I automated my entire business. So I got my email templates in order. I got like everything that goes out to my clients. Literally, what I wanted to think about, I literally made it happen. And so I was like, man, like, okay, I was getting a lot of clients, but my lead generation, like my onboard was jacked up. Like, and it only took twice to where they were lost in my DMs. It was two clients, and it was like a $450,000 buyer, right? $500,000 buyer that I could not find their message and get back to them. And then it happened again. And I was like, you know what, this is ridiculous. Like, I have to get something going, right? Because I was getting a lot of clients and trying to juggle everything. But I was like, look, no, okay, this is what I need. I need a scheduler, and then my scheduler, when they go into my system, now they're automatically in my CRM. And now when I have a call with them, this is what happens. And then after that, this is the next step. And then after that, that's the next step. And, and I've had that process automated all the way through, all the way to closing, right? With email templates, congratulations, you're under contract. These are the next steps, that whole piece. And so the pandemic definitely helped me, in terms of slowing down and getting all of that in order. And then, interest rates dropped. And then the buyers were ready, to get out here in the market and buy. I use Podio, Podio. But yeah, they're ready to get out here, and buy. And so I'm so glad that, well, I hate to say I'm glad the pandemic happened. I'm glad to have had that opportunity to slow down so then I could speed up, because I didn't know interest rates were going to drop and so many buyers were going to be pushed into the market. But if I had not gotten my system in order, there's no way I'd be able to handle the volume that I have now. Like, it's just me, and I have an assistant. And so right now I'm at the capacity where it's time to duplicate and bring on more agents for sure. But I would not even be able to handle things the way I handle now had I not had gotten my system in order.
Yeah, I really like the way that you said that. It gave you the opportunity to slow down before you could speed up. And I think it probably afforded a lot of people that pause or refresh button that maybe we knew we needed, but we couldn't find time to dedicate to it. So
absolutely.
Cool. So I want to move into the other bucket here, just to cover off on just two questions from, an agent advising an agent perspective. So what do investors want in an agent?
That's good. So definitely knowledge. I think when I look at my client reviews, that's kind of like the main thing that a lot of people are appreciative of, is that me having the knowledge of an investor. And like I said, if you don't have that knowledge yet, don't be discouraged. Just go and get it. Right? I mean, YouTube University, right? There's so much information out there. I'm serious, and then you're able to walk into a property and identify certain things. And because you're going to have clients, like I have like 5 203Ks going on right now. I mean, these are full gut renovations, but so imagine the type of properties that we were walking before we found the one. But being able to give them the insight on this, that, right? Or even when it comes to go and visit some contractors, go in, as they're walking properties and that, whole thing. But definitely the knowledge of rehabbing, and the knowledge of running numbers, the numbers that that we discussed earlier. And really just your insight there. But like I said, knowing your market, because if your market is a flip market, then I would focus on getting educated in that space of flips. What does that look like, right? Even on the back end, what are buyers looking for? Like, you're able to educate your client, and that's one thing that I really love about being in that space, is that we know as realtors when a buyer walks into the property whether they're going to love it or not. And if you're able to share with your client, okay, you need to do this, and this, because this is what a buyer is going to love. Like, you have that, you already know that, so use that to your advantage. And like I said, on the other side to that is the rental market. Understanding and knowing the rental market and the rental laws in your area, if your market is a buy and hold area. So being able to come and educate your client about we call it TLO, the tenant landlord ordinance, here in Chicago. If you're able to talk to them about that, or maybe talk to them about Section 8, or maybe, whatever it is, but just being able, again, according to whatever your market is, taking that extra step to be more educated in that specific niche will help.
Okay. Well, we need to wrap, because we're going to move to the exciting giveaway. And Roshana, thank you so much. This has all been really good. I'm excited for the audience to have heard all these answers. And I will pass it over to Lily.
Thank you, Kaylee, and thank you, Roshana, for joining us.
Welcome.
Let me share my.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for having me.
Everyone's going crazy in the chats. They loved it. Okay, perfect. And we shared Roshana's Instagram. So if you guys have a moment, go ahead and hop in.
Yes. And yeah, so just really quick for I see some people on here asking like, how do you learn about investing and things like that? So I definitely have an online women's group for women looking to get into real estate investing. You can find all that information there. And then I actually have a course that's coming up teaching you guys on how to become the Investors Realtor in your market. So that'll be coming out over the next 3 weeks.
Perfect. And as you guys can see, we're about halfway through. After this, we do have a quick break before our next panel, which is marketing every listing like a luxury listing. And I quickly wanted to go over a few highlights that we have of Radius Agent Realty. So we focus heavily on putting your brand first. And recently we developed quite a bit of logo designs, brand development that can be customized to fit what you want as an agent. So although you're part of Radius Agent Realty, we really want you to be the face of your brand, to grow with that in mind and your name at the forefront of that. So I just wanted to share some examples here and how we empower our agents through brand development, growth, training, just like this one, like today, one-on-one help with our team members such as Jessica and Robin, and then also a whole team, business team backing you like myself in marketing, and then Dylan in design, and so on and so forth. So we really have polished an offline and online collateral templates to really kick off our agents. And without further ado, let's go into the giveaway. This one we are doing a $100 gift to Lululemon, and I did check, they do also sell menswear. So for you males out there, if you do get it, there are still some items on their site for you. So drum roll, and the winner goes to Sharon Robinson from Elk Grove, California. Congratulations. If you can directly message me on this chat or our panelists, your contact information so I can get in contact with you to send this over. And again, we're gonna go into, we're a little over, so it's going to be more like a 10-minute break. But yeah, again, thank you, Roshana. Thank you, Kaylee, so much.
Thanks.
I will see you, everyone, in 10 minutes. You should have all gotten the links to that. And yeah, I think that wraps it up.
Bye, everyone.